Hello and welcome to Thumb Culture. My name is Stuart once again, and we are back here again on the lovely links that are the Golf Club 2. This video we will be looking at the course designer. So the other couple of videos we had a bit of gameplay, we've had creating a society, customizing your character. Now the course designer, the last of the main things. So the course designer on this game is what it's all about. You can create anything to your heart's desire. We are going to create a new course. And we're going to create a course for our society, for our club to use. We're going to create a new home course, as it were. So here we go. So you got a tutorial available, so you can have a quick start. So you can go just bang straight into there, and everything you can preview it, and then obviously you can edit things how you see fit. So we're going to call our new course the PS, let's give a capital PS for M links. Okay, so course options, we have themes, so you get to choose the generic kind of overlook of the theme. I want a kind of a rustic kind of feel to this. There is another page as well where we get a few more. So they've added some new ones here, which is great, which is really good. I like the fact that they've added a lot more to this game. So rustic. Once it loads, it'll change all of the background that's going. It'll take a couple of seconds to load, but it gets there eventually. There we go. So there we go. So we've changed. So terrain. How do we want our terrain? So you can automatically change all of these things. So obviously if we put more water, it should, if we apply it, you'll see what it does. There you go. See how it's adding more water features and molding the things around there. But, you know, maybe we'll have 20% water. How many hills? Yeah, 30% is fine. Trees, let's have a few more trees. Let's go up to 70. Plants and grass, up that to 60. Rocks, that can stay as it is. So let's see how this generates it. So there we go. We've got a few more trees. We've got a little bit more water and things like that. So then we can go into the layout. So we can choose how many holes we've got. So we can have, obviously, all the way down to 0 holes if you so wish. You can have a 9-hole course, or you can have an 18-hole, which is what we're going to go for. So out of those 18 holes, how many par 3s? I'm going to give a few par 3s because I want the opportunities for people to get holes in one. So now we've got 13 courses, 13 holes left. How many of those do we want to be the long par 5s? Now we're going to go for 4. Fairway width, so we can widen the fairway slightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to widen the fairways to 70, but I'm also going to add some more fairway bunkers to 65%. So that will give us a nice over, you know, a bit more risk. I mean, we can add it to all the way to 100, but let's not be too harsh on these new members. Green size. I like big greens. I like big greens because it gives you the opportunity of putting from long distance. But with the added green size has to come some more bunkers. So we're going to add some more bunkers. So let's see how that affects the course behind. Perfect. So you see it changes the whole layout of the course for you. So once you've got those 3 options in there, hit on the continue button and we move on to adding some finer details to the courses, to the holes. So course designer introduction. Let's have a look. So design anything. Use the course designer. Okay, it's confirmed. So get rid of that. Use the course designer to create the course of your dreams. Then publish it to share with friends and the rest of the golf club's community. Some of the new features include multi-level water and water features, multiple tee and pin sets, crowds, and a variety of other tools and improvements. And then you've got the help glossary, which is great because it just gives you that little bit more help. Okay. So we can spin around the course. It's looking very fine out there and everything like that. So what you've got here is we can play test. We can go and play test a hole, you know, however you see fit. So currently we are rotating around that point there, which I think must be hole 4, which is fine. You can edit your holes. So let's have a look, see what edit holes brings us. So essentially, hole layout. Here we go. Let's see this. So you can customize it. So we've seen this one before. You can customize, edit them, and things like that. So you move around. So let's go to hole number 1. Where are you, hole number 1? So hole number 1 is here. You've got this here, which is a nice long dog leg left, which looks quite easy to play through. So hole 1 fairway is what we're editing there, or you can come back to the tee box. So you can sculpt land, you can raise the tee box, you can create different surfaces. So let's have a look, see what our options are. So sculpting terrain. So the terrain tools, you've got different ways. You can clear the surface completely, you can landscape it and sculpt it to however you see fit, or you can add different terrain. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look in here. So we've got flatten, we've got raise. I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can have a look, and I'm going to angle the ground angle down a bit. So as you can see, we're hitting over a bit of a hill. But that's not a problem, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise this little tee box up here. So you can rotate and tilt camera and everything like that. But what we're going to do, quite simply, is we're just going to raise it. So you go into the raise tool after you've picked it, so you can place, you can back, you can rotate and scale. So what I'm going to do is I want to rotate it to be that way, and I'm going to raise the ground. See how it's raised it like that? Just gives us a little bit more oomph, as it were. And then you place it, and it gives you this nice flat tee surface, which is great. So that's what you do with all of those different things. So if you want to add little curves and bunkers and everything like that, you can do. You can add a tee position, so multiple tees. So tee sets, so you can add multiple tees for them, and then obviously you can have their position. So you can have 5 tee sets per hole. So we can come forward a bit more. Say we want to place another set of tees there. You place it. Simple as that, and it gives us another tee box. You see it's giving us another tee box just there. So that's it. That is it that you have. So you have a tee box there, a tee box there. So tee box settings, tee box size. So you can have enlarge the tee box to, you know, bigger sizes, shape, texture, tee color. Okay, so the shape. What shape tee box would you like? Would you like a circular tee box? Would you like a square tee box? You know, it changes all of your tees, and then you can change the texture. So we can change, you know, you want a funky looking white tee, you can. We can have it so that it's a bit more prominent, you can. All of these things you can change and go into and dive into the details. Tee markers. Now you can choose which kind of tee markers you want. Now I'm a big fan of round balls. Okay, now it won't come up on here, but I'm guessing it will come up when we go into the thing. So then you've got tee color. So tee set 1 and then tee set 2. So tee set 2, we're going to call them blue tees. Like so. And tee set 1, we're going to have as white tees. Job done. Fairway start, you want it to start near, or you can actually having it move further away, like that. So there's a longer space for you to hit into. Now I quite like that. Just makes it look a bit more difficult. So that's fine. So then you've got hole settings. So you can, you know, you can have a hole, you can have a par 4, or we can change it to a 5, a 6, or a 7. We're going to leave this one as a hole 4. Then you can reorder it so you can move hole 1 into wherever you like, and you can toggle your crowd on or off. So we're going to toggle crowd on for that one. And then we can move the tee box. Simple as that. You can grab it, you can move the tee however you see fit, and it'll move it to there. So that's how you move them, essentially. And you highlight over on this one if you want to do the same for this one. So that's that. So you know, you can play test that, you can edit holes, you can sculpt land, you can do anything that you want to your course. Terrain settings, again, you can add all these. So we've got another tutorial that we can have a quick look of, and it's basically saying, comes with the generated stuff, then you can choose whether or not you want to add more or less. So water level is currently set at a low level, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to up it a little to about there, just to give a little bit more water, a little bit more of a hazard in there. Hills, you can have it flat, or we can add more hills. Now I'm going to leave that as it is. Trees, many. I want more. I want more trees. Trees are great on a golf course. It gives you a little bit more to think about. Plants and grass, medium, many. So we can pop in some more plants and grass around, and we can add more rocks. Now the difficulty is this isn't a rocky kind of course, so you're not going to see a massive change in everything that you see. But you know, it is what it is. So now we can come out of that. We can go to course settings, which essentially I'll show you all of these in another tutorial, so you can make changes to the surfaces or to objects. So we're going to go through those quickly. So T-box settings, so you can change them generically for the whole course. You can have, you know, you can change them all to the circles. That's not a problem. You can change them all. You can change the T markers to the different ones. So you can do them individually, or you can go into them as many as you like, as much as you like, should I say. So you've got lots of different options. You've got some very nice options. And then you've got your T sets. So where there's 2 T sets, you know, you can have different sets. So fairway settings, now you can change them all. Fairway width is large, texture is that. You can also change the mow pattern, mow width. So a narrow mow, so hopefully we should see some lines. You see the lines coming out there on some of the holes? Lovely. Makes it look a very, very nice. Then you got firmness. So essentially this shows you how your ball will react as you go through. You can have it to firm, you can have it soft. So if it's firmer, it'll bounce more. If it's softer, it'll hold the surfacing. Fairway span. So at the start, you want it to be near, and at the end, you want it to be however you feel. Essentially, that is saying whether you want it to be right around, you know, watch the holes there, those should change, whether you want it to be right around the greens or whether or not you want it to be a little chip on, as it were. But I'm going to have it up and around just to make it a nice, bit more enticing for people to attack. So the edges, you can have a wavy edge, medium or smooth edges. So let's see how that affects. Bosh. So now we get straight line fairways, but we don't want that because there's no challenge. So I'm going to have it all the way up to number 1 to give us a bit more of a challenge. Actually, let's drop it down to about 0.7. Bit too much. Come on. There we go. That'll do. 0.71. Fairway bunkers. Now we can have few or more. So I'm going to set that up because I like a little bit of a challenge. You're going to have a medium amount of fairway bunkers. Many. Let's go up to 7. Okay, so that gives us more of those. Hazard distances. Hazard, fairway hazard from start. So I'm going to allow people to be able to hit the ball, but they have to have a little bit of control over what they're doing. So that's the fairway settings. And then you've got the rough. So how wide do you want your rough to be? The texture of the rough. Now we can change this to white and it'll change everything to nice, like sandy kind of colour. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and just have a slightly different green. There we go. You can see it's slightly cut out. You can see it. Rough width, that's fine. We'll have that there. That's fine. That's the heavy rough. Rough. and then this is the other section of the course. So we can have it so that it looks like it's all sandy and nice, or we can just set it to another green as it was. And then we can move on to the greens. So there are so many options, as you can see. So green size, we want slightly bigger greens. Let's go for 15-yard greens and see how that affects on the screen. Then we've got big greens, which is great. Slope, we want them to be relatively flat. Texture, that's absolutely fine to be as it is. The mow pattern, right? We don't need to change the mow pattern. Green firmness, we want it to be nice and firm. Green speed, we want it to be quite fast and zippy. I like a fast green. You can adjust the roll speed by changing the green speed to be a slow or fast. Stimp meter reading. The lower the number read, the slower the roll of the ball. The higher, the faster. And then obviously that can all be setting, and its setting is global and affects all the greens. The fringe. So the fringe is like the patch on the outside of the green before it goes to the green, if that makes sense. Green bunkers, medium, that's fine. Flag texture. What do we want? Let's go for red tees, or red texture on the tees. And all we can change on the bunker is the texture, which is the colour. So we're going to make it a bit darker, which is nice. So that's the course editor option. So now we can go into the environment options. So you can change your theme wherever you are. So if we wanted to change it to the countryside, because I lived in the countryside for quite a while, you just hit it, generates for a little while, and then it will change everything. The course should stay the same, but the surroundings won't. So now we're going to see what this boreal is, how it changes it. So we've got a bit more trees. So I'll tell you what, we're going to leave it as that for the time being rather than going through. And then you can change the backdrop. So you can change the backdrop, which essentially is what you see out on the horizon. You get theme options, which is nice. You get different theme options. So we've got a flat one. We can add a few hills once it loads, like that. Or we can add some big hills, which essentially is what you see around you. That's fine. Lighting, so you can choose what time of day. Let me just show you this. So set the type of sunlight experience in your course via the light settings. And then the time of day determines how high in the sky the sun is. You won't get sunburnt, so you haven't got to make sure you put on sun cream, which is handy. And so you adjust the orientation and inclination of the sun to create a look to your course that mirrors a seasonal ambience. So I'd quite like some low cascading shadows. So what we'll do is we'll move so that we can see some sideways shadows there. So right, so time of day, that's fine. Orientation, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the inclination down, but obviously, as you have to be careful, is that you don't drop the sun too far down behind the mountains. So where is the sun at the moment? So we are going to drop it down just a touch more. Look at that. That is a very nice. So over one side of the course we've got nice sunlight, orientation, and time of day we'll raise it. That's nice. I like that. It's very, very nice. There we go. So time of day 9:32, and then you can change your weather. So course weather, you can set the type of weather, cloud cover and fog on your course. You can also make your course look and feel like playing on a partly sunny day, overcast or rainy, and then you can set clouds to be as dense or as sparse. So, default overcast, rainy or clear. We're going to leave it at default for the time being, but we are going to show you all the different options. So we can add clouds, which is nice. You can add all that. You can add high clouds and how high they are and things like that. So, or you can just toggle rain. I'm going to leave that off because I want it to be nice. Haze, I would like a little bit of haze over the top, just to, you know, a bit of that. Fog ceiling, let's add a bit more fog. It's raising the fog, isn't it? So let's drop it down. And then we're going to add some fog density all the way up. Well, that's some deep fog. That is. That cannot be right. There we go. Nice foggy day. So don't add too much fog because it just makes it go black. And then you can regenerate the course if you so wish, which will basically randomize it all again. But we're going to look in the create and add section now. So if you didn't have all of your holes and you just started off with a flat one, you can create your own holes. But we're just going to have a look at see what we've got. So there we go, we can add a wide range of trees, plants, wildlife and man-made objects. You can edit them once they're on there, and then you can obviously add multiple ones. So we're going to look at the theme objects. So these are specific to this theme. So you've got trees, rocks, plants or grass. And each one of these will be slightly different to the last. But we're not going to look at those, we're going to look at the global objects. So we've got walls and fences. You've got buildings. We've got furniture, signs, bridges, equipment, vehicles, wildlife and global plants. So, vehicles, sea, aircraft and land. Now, I remember last time I had this game, I added a container ship to one of my holes. So there we go, you can see there, we can have a bit of a feature where we hit off of a container ship. There we go, we've placed it. So now it's placed it in the thing. So now you've still got hold of it, so you can add more if you so wished. But you've got lots of different boats and things like that. Aircraft, you've got passenger planes, you know, private planes, a blimp, helicopters, a water plane, you know, private plane, jet, balloons. I'm guessing the balloons go up in the air. Let's zoom out and see. Yeah, so there we go. We've got a little balloon that we can add there. You can go back to the editor menu by touching the touchpad and things like that. Oh, we're in the wrong thing. Oh dear. Oh dear. We need to be back in the create objects, global objects, and stuff like that. So there we go. You can make it a bit more feature packed. So let's going to add another building. So what have we got? We've got lighthouses, cities, camera towers, concession stands, crowd seatings. Let's add a, so you can make a big kind of sprawling place, as it were. That's a nice little townhouse, that. So we're going to add one of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this over here, but we're then going to rotate the actual building. It's almost like a little annex just at the edge of this hole here. So then you just literally just go plonk, place it, and there we go, it's placed. You could do that with any of these things. So you've got shelters, washrooms, clubhouses, you've got different clubs houses, so you can make elaborate or anything like that, anything you wish. Furniture is, as it says, benches, trash cans, any kind of stuff of that respect. I'm pretty sure that we can go down and we can add signposts, add boards, directional boards, road markers. And then we've got bridges. So, you know, you've got standalone bridges. You can add a little bridge. So there's a hole over here. Where's the hole that's got some water through it? Number 2. You know what we can do is you can actually, let me just try and get a good sized bridge. So we're going to choose that bridge. Then what we're going to do is we are actually going to snap on, which is good. So what we can do is hopefully if we go bush, put one there, bush, put another one there. Essentially what we've got is we are snapping to the bridge. So there we go. So we've added a little bridge in there. So you can add everything that you want. So then we've got sectional bridges. So if you wanted to add a ginormous bridge, you could add a bridge that goes all over it, so you have to punch the ball underneath it if you so wished. Equipment, which is obviously course equipment. So you've got ball washers, golf carts, tea caddies, club washers, ball washers, tea, you know, rakes, all sorts of different things that you've got. Or range things. So you've got a ball pyramid, you've got a mower, you've got a ball bucket, a divider, all these kinds of things that you can put into the course. Back to vehicles. And then you've got wildlife. So we can add deer and cows. So, you know, maybe I want to add some grazing cows just over the tee point here. Place a cow. And we'll add another cow. And we'll add another cow. And then we'll add one more just for luck. So it's a bit sensitive, as you can see. So there we go. So we've added a few cows that are just going to loiter themselves on there. Not too dangerous. Not really. You can add squirrels, kangaroos, moose, horse, sheep, goats, all sorts. And then obviously you've got the birds. So, you know, you can add a bird on the ground. Is he on the ground or is he up in the air? I think that once I mean, he's lying on the floor at the moment. Let's pop an eagle on the floor there. Just because. Swan, goose, duck, seagulls, ravens, insects. You know, you can add butterflies to this and all sorts of stuff. So you can go crazy. And then we're going to add a crocodile. Yes, we are. Just there. Just a nice little croc. Hello, Mr. Crocodile. Just there. Because you can. For no other reason whatsoever. That bird seems to be having a bit of a nightmare, really, over there, lying on the ground. I'm hoping, and that, you know. And then we can add some sea life. He's down at the bottom at the moment, but obviously we would add this into our fish pond. So we'll add some koi carp. We'll add 3. Add 3 of these little lovelies into there. So there we go. So there's our wildlife on the course. And then you've got global plants. So these are all plants that aren't necessarily just one place's stuff. I didn't go into walls and fences, but I think that kind of is all self-explanatory, perhaps. Is their walls. So that's the objects. Then, see, now we've got surfaces. So you can add bunkers. Let's just knock this off. So placed surfaces. So you can place additional things, brush them, all different, you know, prompted to use the brush or spline. Paint a specific area. So, got greens, fairways, roughs, heavy roughs, surface, or paths. Then we can brush it, or you can use a spline, which, like it just said, allows you to draw a line. Ta-da! Or we can brush, which essentially Ta-da! Allows you to just do a quick surface. Simple as that. And you can do that with any of the different surfaces. And then we've got water features. So editing water. So plate. No, that's not the wrong one. That's the wrong one. There we go. So you can add new water bodies. You can add water effects, and you can add the water flow. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have a quick look into the water body. So I'm going to make this little tee box there a bit more thingied. So unfortunately it's not quite right, you see, because it's trying to create a water body that's not quite there. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's basically dirtying the water. So you can advance it, and then you can change the height and everything like that, flow speed. You can snap it and things like that. So if we change the height in here, and there we go, we change the height down to there. Getting a bit more water this time. Drop it down to actual water level as well. We should get a bit more. So change that to there. So anyway, let's back out and see how that has all affected it. Oh, I see, it's actually giving us those water things. Never mind. Anyway, so then we've got the different water features. So you can add a high falls, high splash, low splash, low falls, high falls. Let's add that there. It's going to look completely ridiculous. I am more than aware. But, you know, we're just having a play. So then we've got tournament objects. So add boards, crowd seating, concessions, camera towers if you are hosting a tournament. And then you've obviously got your tournament crowds. So we can add a crowd. Create designated areas for standing spectators by selecting add crowds. So let's say we want to add a nice we want to add a crowd that's hanging around out here. Okay, so we are going to up the scale because we want a nice big crowd to watch the first tee shot, and then we'll place a little like that's going to be the crowd area there and there. Okay, and then what we'll do is you're going to add some more at the back up here. All around the outside of there. So that's where the crowds would congregate on the thing. And then you toggle the crowd on or off, which we want on. And then obviously the last thing that we can do is we can add out of bounds. So essentially what we want is we want out of bounds to be along the line of there. Essentially that means if the ball goes out past there, you have to take a drop. You have to take a shot, as it were. So that is all of the things that we have added. So now what we're going to do is we are going to play test a hole. So you can always test it to make sure that it's all happy and things like that. So we're going to play hole. And we're going to see how it all plays out, how it looks, and things like that. So there's our crowds. Oh yes, there's the crocodiles with the cows. So, you know, it's quite good. So this line comes up when you're playtesting, essentially telling you where your shot's going so that you can test it out, so you can see. So there you go, I'm going to hit it to that corner there. I'm going to come back a bit more and then I'm going to hit it from here. So these crowds are all here watching me ready. Twang! Watching me crush it, as it were. So there we go. So there's that shot. If it doesn't hold up, it's going to be in the rough. that we've given a nice darker green. So that's fine. There we go. So now we're going to hit into the green, which is should be quite straightforward. There's no wind when you play test. Crushed it again. So there we go. So that's gone a bit too far. So we're going to be over the back now. But that's fine because it gives us an opportunity. Oh. Excuse me. That's not good. There we go. So now we're on the green. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hit nice, try and hit a nice thing. So we've got 44 feet to the hole, 1 foot down. Putter can do 144 foot. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit it at about there. It's going to catch the hill. It's going to roll down the hill. Oof! And the crowd reacting to how we're playing. So essentially, I'm just going to tap this in now. Hopefully, he says. It'll be a bit embarrassing if you can't, but it should. No, okay, just missed the lip. But anyway, so that's worked out quite nicely. You can go through and you can play all of your holes and give them a little test play to make sure that you're happy. And it will just carry on through. So here's the hole where we've got the bridges going over. So you can see it looks quite good, and you know it looks the part. So what we can do is we can press options, and you can go to edit course, or you can rewind shot and things like that. So we can go back to the course editor from there. So this has been an overview of the course creator, giving you an idea of what you can and can't do. Essentially, you can do anything. So we can go through all of this. You can close the menu and what have you, the editor menu, sorry, and things like that. And then essentially you just go back all the way through and you can edit everything as you see fit. So this has been an overview of the course creator. I've been Stuart. You've been watching the Golf Club 2 and joining us over here at Thumb Culture. So we thank you very much. If you like the content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Take care.